Hey, what's up, everybody? Trent T. Daniel back with another episode of Mastering the Markets, the video series created specifically to keep you from becoming a broke ass trader. This is a no broke ass trader zone. What I want to talk to you today is about the right way to set stop losses based on using what I think is the most powerful indicator available in any trading at all, period, ever, end of story. But before we get into that, I'd like to ask you guys to hit that like and subscribe button below so we can let the people at YouTube know that you're loving this content. And if you have anything that you want us to do, any kind of special videos or whatever, feel free to put it in the comments and we'll get to it. Okay, so let's talk about this average true range. What is it? Let's jump into the charts real quick here and let's look at what the average true range is. So simply speaking, the average true range is literally the average size of the bars over a certain period of time. Okay. Now, the way you can see the average true range is you can just go into your indicators tab here in Trading View and type in ATR, and that will bring up several different ones that say average true range. But for now, we're just going to talk about this one. Okay. Now, I had it on my screen already, but here it is. So it's in blue here. And what you see is a line that's represented by, well, a blue line here, and this has certain coordinates to it, and those really aren't important until you're actually getting to a specific point in time. So here's what I mean. So let's just say, for instance, I'm looking at possibly getting into a trade right here because there is a level of support that it seems to be reacting off of right in this range here. So I want to get into it. And this actually does look like a pretty decent place to jump in. Got a support level here. There was a little bit of resistance back here. Price came down and then it pushed back up. I've got a wick going up. So let's just say I want to get in this trade. And I say I only want to lose risk 10 pips, okay, on this. So I'm trading as basically a novice would, which that's how I traded when I first started and lost a lot of money. So let's just say I only want to put at risk 10 pips. All right. And I want to do a risk to reward of 1 to 2. Let's just say 1 to 3. All right. Just for show's sake here. All right. So here I am. Let's highlight that and let's get into this. So I've got 10 pips that I want to put at risk. And so that means if the price comes from here past this bottom of this line here, then I'm going to lose this trade. Well, the problem with this scenario is, and I'll actually go back and use the replay feature. We'll find another one to do. But the problem that I'm in right here is look where my swing low is. My swing low is all the way down here. So if I get into a trade and I have the mentality that I only want to lose a certain amount of money or a certain number of pips, especially if it's a tight stop loss. So if I'm saying I'm willing to put up 50 pips of a loss, then that's a little bit of a different story. But if I'm only willing to lose 10 pips, and let's just say on a one lot size, this is $10. So I'm only willing to lose $100. Well, look at how big all of these bars are. You see this one here, this one. So this bar right here is from top to bottom is 30, 40 pips. This bar from top to bottom is 36 pips. Even the smallest bar that I can find out of these, which is probably this one, is 17, 18, 19, 20 pips. So, and let's just find another small one here. So let's just say this small one here. So this one's 10 pips. So literally speaking, looking back over the period of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, looking back over 16 bars, I'm choosing my stop loss to literally be the same size as the smallest bar that happened a long time ago. This means I'm putting myself in the position just where, based on simple price action, okay, I could get stopped out of this trade just by the bar interacting here. And look at this, the length of this bar here. What is this one? And this is the most recent bar. Okay, it's 23 pips. So what I'm saying is that this thing is going to go up before the price could possibly retrace down 10 pips. Well, look at what's happened historically over the last 16 bars. And so I've got a problem here. And a lot of people don't recognize this because they trade based on how much they're willing to lose. when I was a poker player, I always had a philosophy. Well, I always had a philosophy once I started getting good, that I was never going to play not to lose. I was going to play to win, because when you play not to lose, you tend to be ultra conservative. And what you don't know is that you're really pressing your luck. You're kind of forcing luck to have to work for you exactly as you need it to, as opposed to allowing just the natural flow of the game to happen. So that's exactly what I'm doing here by telling myself I only want to lose $100. Realistically speaking, my stop loss needs to be at least down to this swing low, because this is the most recent swing of the currency pair, and we're on the odd CAD here. This is the most recent swing down here, so at least I know I've got some room to move. So let's just move that. Oops, I got my phone on. We don't need that going on while we're doing video, but we're going to keep plugging away anyway. All right, so at least I don't need that now. So realistically speaking, I would be better off moving my stop loss right here, because that's my swing low. So that takes me down 24 pips. Now, let's talk about that, okay? Because I put myself in a better position by moving my stop loss. And if I want to move my take profit up, so I'm still at that 1 to 2, that's fine. Okay, I personally would not do this. I think going for 49 pips on one trade is a little excessive. I like to stay in around maybe the 20 pip range, okay? But let's just go with that. So now we've got 24 pip stop loss, and let's zoom in, just isolate this area right here, okay? So we've got 24 pip stop loss. Let's count back 14 bars. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. And so out of these 14, this looks to be the longest one here. So let's see how many pips this is. And this one is 74 pips. So let's see what my stop loss is. Well, it's 24 pips. So the longest bar that there was produced in the last 14 bars is 74. Now, the shortest bar, I think we'll find it was this one, because I think the 10 one, or maybe this one here. Okay. So yeah, so this is about 20 pips right here. So I've got a 24 pip stop loss, but my range, my average of the last 14 bars literally comes out to 26. Now, how do I know that? Well, what I do is I put my cursor right here over that bar, and then I look in this area right here, and it's going to give me a number. Now, I ignore the last number, so I just look at this. So this is 26 pips ATR. So right now, what I'm doing is I'm knowing that over the last 14 bars, and the reason I know that is because the ATR value, the length is set to 14, which is standard, which is fine. That's no problem. You can leave that as that. But I'm literally setting myself up potentially for failure again, because the average true range of the last 14 bars is 26 pips, okay? And I'm setting my stop loss at 24. So that's right at that. So really what you need to do is, in this situation, I would take this swing low here, and I would actually add whatever the ATR. So that's 26. So I've got 24. So I would add that to this. And so now I'm down at 50 pips. Okay. I'm down at 50 pips. And then I definitely need to go do a 1-to-1. There's no need to try to do anything crazy here. So I've got 50 pips worth of loss, and I've got room for this to breathe, and it would have to go down into areas where it has not been down in, let me see, it is 8 a.m. So it has not been there since a couple of days. Okay, so you see this is February 14th, and you've got a couple of days when the price has been in this area. So now what I'm doing, I'm setting myself up in a greater position to win, just because I first of all moved my stop loss back to the most recent swing low, but then I added the ATR value onto it, which gives this room to breathe, okay? So now let's just take this as an example, and let's look at another scenario and see if this works, okay? And I'm just gonna randomly grab one here and just kind of look at price action and see something that looks like it could be pretty cool, okay? So let's say this right here, all right? So we're gonna go ahead and move our go back in time. We're gonna delete this. Okay, so I see this trade here. I like what I'm seeing. There's a little bit of support. There was some resistance over here. There's some support here. The price is reacting with a green candle. So I like what I'm looking at. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and take this trade, and going to get in right here. I got in a little late. So I'm going to get right here, and I'm going to say that I only want to lose $100. I'm doing a full lot size. So I only want to lose 10 pips. Okay. All right. And I want to do a 1 to 2. Of course, let's go ahead and stick with 1 to 3. That's fine. All right. So I'm off and running. I've got my trade set. I'm looking good. I'm all excited now. I'm going to win this thing. So let's see what happens. And let's just kind of play this out. Oh, wait a minute. What happened? You see, I immediately got stopped out on the next bar. Can you see that? Look at this. All right. So why did that happen? And this, I swear, guys, when I first started trading, this frustrated me so much because I was like, why does it seem like every time I hit a button, there's this magic gremlin that is waiting to take my trade in the wrong direction? So let's replay that again. Okay. So I've got my initial trade here. Oh, wait, you know what? I'm sorry. Let's do that again. I need to move back to that area. Okay. So let's just move this back. All right. Approximately there. Okay. So I am moving along, and guess what? I jump in to this trade here. You see that? I was right there. And literally speaking, the very next bar stopped me out. Now, let's see what the ATR is. Okay, let's see if we could have kept ourselves from getting stopped out. So at this point in time, when I got into this trade, the ATR was 24. How do I know? Because I go over here and look, I place my cursor and it's 24.5. I ignore the last number. So it's 24. So I, first of all, had I gone down to my swing low, let's just look at that first of all. So this is my swing low. This is the most recent swing, which is 26 pips. Now let's play this out and see what would have happened, because the drop off that I had stopped right here. And look at that. I won this trade. And the reason I won this trade is because I set my stop loss at the most recent swing low. Okay. So that worked wonderfully. But had I played it even more safe and more conservative, then what I should have done is I should have taken the ATR and added that. So I should have gone down another 24 pips, which would take me right at about 50 pips. Okay. Now, I understand that this is, and we would have to move this up, of course. So we're at least 1 to 1, and I still won this trade. Now, I do understand that this tends to give you heartburn, because it's like, man, I'm taking a bigger risk and I could lose more money. Well, this is true, but here's the way to remedy that. Instead of doing a full lot size on this trade, so let's just say you really only want to lose $100. Okay, well, at this right here, you're putting $500 at risk because you're losing $10 per pip. But what happens if I just break down my lot size? So instead of trading a full lot, I trade a mini lot. Well, that's going to be a lot less than that. So that's going to take me down to, if I trade a mini lot, a half lot would be 5. So this is 0.1. So now I'm only losing $1 per trade, per tick. Okay, so that's a whole lot better than $10. So I said tick per pip. So now I'm losing dollars. So now I'm only putting up $50 at risk in order to make $50 a reward. You see, it's possible to build on your bankroll without having to go for these big transactions. I made that mistake a lot. I didn't understand the value of a lot of small wins as opposed to a few big ones, because I wanted to win fast. I wanted the money. But the key is you can do this over and over and over again. So the way that you remedy your concern about losing a certain amount of money is reduce your lot size and always use the ATR. If you do this, I guarantee you that you'll find that your trades are going to be a lot more successful. You're going to not get stopped out and whipsawed by the market, because that happens all the time. And remember, the average true range is literally, I call it the American Express of indicators. I don't leave home without it. I never, ever take a trade without the ATR, because that ATR helps save my life. Now, a lot of the times you can be more successful just by moving your stop loss to the most recent swing low. But what if you don't have a swing low? What if you are the swing low? You're at the swing low right then and there. So in fact, let's jump back into the charts here and let's show you. What if you're in this situation where you're right here? Okay, so let's go back in our timeline and let's jump back to here. All right, and let's look at the next bar. Okay, and it's like that. Okay, so you really like that a lot. And you go back and look, you haven't seen anything historically, but you mark this could be a good place of some support for you. Okay, so you're going to go ahead and take a little small trade here just to see what happens. Well, if you are the swing low, then you really have no swing low to go off of. So this is where you have to have the ATR. So what you should do is you take that bottom of that, where if you're going to take the trade here, then you want to go ahead and get in at the bottom of this. Okay, let's do that. Then you want to add the ATR value to it, which is, let's look here, it is 23. I'm going to add the ATR value. So I'm going to come down 23 pips. All right. And this is where my stop loss is going to be on this trade. So I'll drag this over here. I was getting in the trade right there. I'll drag my stop loss to right there. Okay, because I added it on to the swing low. All right. And then I go for a 1-to-1 here. And there I am. So let's see what happens here. Let's clear this out of the way. So let's see what happens. I won the trade, you see. Now, would I have won the trade had I kept it right here at the swing low? Yes, I would have. But look, I left myself very little room in order for that to happen. So just move that down there to that ATR. And guess what? I won that trade. Okay. So the key is, guys, it's not always about winning big. It's about winning a lot over and over and over and over. You'd be amazed how a lot of $30, $40, $50 wins can add up at the end of the month. It can be very, very substantial. Okay. So just remember, always use the ATR indicator in any of your trades. Set your stop loss. If there is a recent swing low, set your stop loss 1 ATR below that swing low. If there is no swing low, then you need to take wherever you're at. And then I typically would do 1.5 times, maybe 2 times the ATR. Okay. So just wanted to give you that hint and that tip, and I hope it was helpful to you guys. Remember, if you would please hit that like and subscribe button so we can keep sending a message to the whole wide world that you're loving this content. We'll be here to kick out some more to you very soon. In fact, in my next video, I think I'm going to do a training on actually setting your take profits also based on ATR. In fact, that's what I'll do in the next video coming up. Okay, guys, thanks so much. We love having you, and we love you being here and all that good stuff. And I just lost track because something weird popped up on my screen. We'll talk to you later on, guys. Bye-bye.